gear a little bit and talk and get to the back to the market straight, where it's been a very interesting year, depending on what side of the market you trade in. The fixed income folks seem to have gotten the best, the bigger part of the carrot. The equities seem to have taken the smaller share of that. So, but how do you balance your assets and liabilities? How do we balance things out in a year that's been a bit topsy-turvy on one side of the street and the other? Let's get this conversation through with Nathan Emefiele, who is a money market dealer with FSDH Merchant Bank. Nathan, it's good to see you this morning. Thank you very much for coming through to us.
Yeah, thank you.
It's good to have you there from FMDQ Exchange Place. So it's time to wrap up the books, as it were. So if you try to balance your assets and liabilities right now, how do we balance the book? What does the book show so far in the year?
Okay, thank you. You look at your books, composition of assets and liabilities. For the assets, you have those items you have purchased that are earning you money. You have like the treasury bills, the securities. You have the FGN bonds. On the federal government, you have the commercial bills, commercial papers. And you also have monies that you probably have giving out your loans and advances. So those are the assets in your books. And for the liabilities, those are items that you are paying interest on. For instance, money deposits you've taken from customers. You also have monies you've borrowed, probably long-term loans, long-term financing that you borrowed. And what you try to do is to ensure that your assets far outweigh your liabilities, such that you are hedging the risk of defaulting on your depositors and those that you borrowed money from. So in balancing your books, you ensure that those items that are earning you money are more than those ones you're paying interest on. So at the end of the day, you have a net interest margin, and you ensure that you are making money for your organization or your bank, as the case may be.
So for Treasury managers and those that trade all those assets, and those who are investors, pension funds, insurance companies, and others, generally, what year, how has this year been for them? If you look at the assets and liabilities, are we ending net positive or net negative?
Okay, it's been a different year compared to the previous year. If you are looking at the PFAs, for instance, they have invested in government securities because of the high yielding, the returns there. Before now, the focus was giving the money out, as in to earn interest, because rates were very high. There was volatility in the system, and we saw rates skyrocketed to about 50%, 60% levels. So then they were giving money out. They earned like 15, 20%, as the case may be. And right now, because the focus has now turned to securities trading, we have the one-year bill now trading at 15%. So they have shifted to buying securities into their books and earning returns from those purchases, as opposed to giving out the money and earning lower margins, say at 12% or 13%, as the case may be. So they have shifted focus now to buying securities.
Okay.
Federal government bonds and treasury bills, so to say.
Okay. Nathan, thank you very much for starting the remainder of the week for us on the debt market street. Thank you very much, Nathan Emefiele, a money market dealer of FSDH Merchant Bank, live to us from FMDQ Exchange Place. Let's come back to the stock exchange, of course, after the break, to check in with the opening bell on Custom Street. Okay, so let's look up to Temple Ashaju, our business correspondent at the Nigerian Stock Exchange, live to us from the trading floor to give us a sense of the opening bell. The second trading day of the week, the day after Christmas and Boxing Day. Temple, you said brokers, you said earlier the programs to start the show that the brokers were trooping in as early as 10 o'clock this morning. It looks like no one wants to miss on any of the good things that are happening inside the trading engine as early as possible, because there's no time. If you can make some money, why not make it while others are still having fun at home? Chase the money.
Exactly, Boston. That sounds like the motivation this morning.
Temple,
you got to just come in
at home?
time and do what you need to do. Take the position. I don't know.
Why sleep at home?
When there's an opportunity to make money.
I'm telling you. Yes. So, give us the opening numbers.
There's a whole lot of opportunities to make money. A lot of traders are regretting not taking position earlier in Diamond Bank, but you know how it is with these markets. You never can tell which is uncertain, which is certain for you to actually position yourself in. But here we are. Yes, the market is open. Unfortunately, we've seen some losses right now. The index is down some 1% as we speak, but that's on the accounts of some sell pressure basically on Dangote Cement, I beg your pardon. Dangote percent down in early trades by some 3.45%. We know that it's risen to an appreciable level for some investors to quickly exit the market, because at a point it fell to as low as 184.85 naira per share, but at the point which it closed on Monday, some 190 something naira, that made it that offered some kind of opportunity for some investors to quickly take profits, and that seemed to be the kind of sentiment we're seeing this morning. Flour Mill is also down some 2.56%, and we see Access Bank also dipping some 2.78%, and it's found on the top trades after some investors have exited some 3.98 million units of shares on it. But if you look at the other side of the market, we're talking about the gainers chart. We've seen Forte Oil on account of the news that broke last week that Mr. Femi Otedola is making exit from that company. It's up right now, though, by some 9.99%. We don't know why, but we know that before now we had seen Forte Oil down to some 17 naira per share, and for more than 2 months, we noticed that Forte Oil was actually, falling. Forte Oil is one of the most active stocks in this market. At the point it was trading at 300 naira plus, but when it fell to 17 naira per share, we saw a whole lot of investors, keying into it. And now that we've seen some Yuletide returns on it, well, at some 34 naira, 35 naira right now that it is trading in the markets, given the 9.9% appreciation we've seen in its price, then it offers more entry for investors, even though it's gradually getting into the bid segment. So that's what we're saying. But we also know that the latest from Diamond Bank is the fact that the bank just announced the appointment of an acting chairman, and that is in the name of Mr. Dele Babade. We're yet to get full information on that, but we'll see how things pan out on that particular company.
Okay.
Before the end of the day, Bosun.
Yes, Temple. Thank you so much. Let's leave it there for this morning. Of course, other programming throughout for the rest of the day. We'll touch up on some of those stories you're talking about. Temple Ashaju is still there on the floor for other programming later in the day. This is your Business Morning. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, here in Nigeria and around the world. We'll see you again tomorrow, Friday, to wrap up your business and Christmas week all together. See you then.